KPBS On Demand is supported by Latino Legacy Foundation, presenting their Storyteller series, Reach for the Stars with Ellen Ochoa, the first Latina astronaut, former NASA director, and San Diego native. Sunday, June 29th. More at latinolegacyfoundation.org.
We'll find out today if San Diego moves into a more restrictive COVID-19 tier or if we'll stay in the red. The news will come from State Health Director Dr. Mark Ghaly in his weekly press conference. Only 10 California counties are currently in the purple, most restrictive tier in the state's color-coded ranking system. Governor Gavin Newsom says that's likely to change for the worse.
I anticipate that we will see more restrictive tiering based upon case rates that have begun to increase. Look at places like Mono County, you look at Kings, Alpine, Shasta counties, you're starting to see case rates growing.
California's test positivity rate is up from what it was in mid-October. Under the purple tier, many non-essential indoor business operations would be forced to close. San Diego City Council member Barbara Bree has conceded the mayor's race to Assembly member Todd Gloria. Gloria's double-digit lead on election night was big, almost insurmountable. But Bree held out hope that she might still narrow the gap as more votes were counted. Instead, Gloria's lead has been growing over the past few days. In a Monday morning press conference, Bree said she had called Gloria on Sunday to congratulate him on the win. It's Tuesday, November 10th, and this is San Diego News Matters from KPBS News. I'm Annika Colbert. Stay with me for more of the local news you need to start your day.
KPBS On Demand is supported by Splatero, helping homeowners pay off debt by offering streamlined access to your home's equity with no additional monthly payments or new debt. Splatero provides a lump sum payment in exchange for a share of your home's future value. Pre-qualification is available at splatero.com.
California's elected officials are cheering President-elect Joe Biden's victory in the presidential race. But what does that new White House mean for the Golden State? Cap Radio's Nicole Nixon reports.
Governor Gavin Newsom has worked amicably with President Donald Trump on emergencies like the pandemic and wildfires. But he says a new White House will mean smoother sailing for California's priorities.
It goes from headwinds to tailwinds. That's pretty obvious.
Over the past 4 years, California's Attorney General has filed more than 100 lawsuits against the Trump administration. So Newsom's looking forward to having political allies in the White House. On policy, he says the Biden-Harris agenda lines up well with California's.
Health and education, issues related to the environment, environmental stewardship, and low-carbon green growth. Broadly, those are California. That's a California agenda.
Newsom now has the opportunity to appoint a successor to Kamala Harris's Senate seat, but says it's still too early to provide a timeline for naming his pick. In Sacramento, I'm Nicole Nixon.
A newly elected Temecula City Councilwoman sponsored a rally just before the election challenging California's COVID-19 protections. KPBS reporter Steve Walsh says one speaker promised more mass gatherings, defying the state's guidance.
Jessica Alexander organized a rally outside City Hall that challenged the state's COVID restrictions just a few days before she won a seat on the council. One of the speakers, Peggy Hall, later posted her own speech on social media.
We are going to have the largest Thanksgiving feast that California has ever seen, and we're going to do it all together.
Like the event in Temecula, Hall says the crowd at her next Southern California gathering won't be wearing masks in defiance of public health orders. Councilwoman-elect Alexander did not respond to a request for comment. The events became public as Governor Gavin Newsom called for people to become more vigilant as cases of COVID-19 rise in parts of California, including San Diego County. Steve Walsh, KPBS News.
On Monday, the San Diego City Council approved Mayor Kevin Faulconer's Complete Communities program. It aims to boost the city's affordable housing supply. KPBS Metro reporter Andrew Bowen has the story.
The program is optional for developers and only applies to land that's near public transit and already zoned for apartments. In exchange for setting aside 40% of units as affordable to low and moderate income households, developers can get more flexibility on a project's density and height. Council President Georgette Gomez says it will help solve the city's housing shortage and address climate change.
I do believe that this is something that is planting a stronger seed in how we're going to be tackling the climate crisis. Do real smart growth development in transit areas that are extremely critical.
The council also approved new fees on projects in car-dependent neighborhoods that will fund bike and pedestrian infrastructure in more urban and low-income communities. Andrew Bowen, KPBS News.
A decision on which utility could get a decades-long contract to provide energy for the city of San Diego is now waiting to be docketed in City Council. But KPBS reporter Shalina Chetlani says even if council members don't agree on a winning utility, the city has some options.
After the city closed a bidding auction in late October, it was up to City Council President Georgette Gomez to find a date for the council to discuss the bids. But in a memo Monday evening, Gomez said she would not docket a vote on the bids and instead wants to extend San Diego Gas and Electric's contract by a year. A November 4th letter from City Attorney Mara Elliott clarifies that even if council doesn't make a decision in that time, SDG&E would still have to serve the city. And electric engineer and public power advocate Bill Powers says the letter also confirms that if the city formed its own utility instead, it could still maintain a relationship with community choice aggregation.
They're still buying the power, selling it to the public power agency, and the public power agency then distributes it to the citizens, to the residents.
Gomez says the council needs more time to consider a decision that could impact San Diegans for generations. Shalina Chetlani, KPBS News.
Coming up on the podcast, the Old Globe started a new weekly series on local poetry called The Poet's Tree.
You'll get challenged every week. We take a literary theme and a common saying and we smash it together, and you have 2 minutes to write one line of poetry.
That story from our arts reporter Beth Accomando is up next after this break.
KPBS On Demand is supported by UC San Diego's Art Power, presenting cellist Joshua Roman, performing from his album Immunity, alongside music by J.S. Bach and more, Sunday, June 22nd at UC San Diego's Epstein Family Amphitheater. Reserve your tickets at artpower.ucsd.edu.
The Poet's Tree is an online weekly event hosted by Old Globe teaching artist and spoken word poet Gil So-Tu. It takes a deep dive into the world of modern poetry and offers interviews as well as interactive prompts with the audience. KPBS arts reporter Beth Accomando previews tonight's event with host Gil So-Tu.
Gil, you are the host and creator of this series that's at the Old Globe Theater called The Poet's Tree. So explain what this is.
So the Poet's Tree is a interactive interview series where I get to interview some of my poetic heroes and also use them to help inspire other people to write. So it's not just something that when you listen to it or watch it that you're going to do nothing. Like, we have interactive games with our audience. We have challenges at the end of each episode where writers write in their poetic responses to whatever the challenge from the artist is. And the artist for the following week helps me read some of those responses. So they get their poems read out loud by some of the top poets in the country. And it's really just my excuse to be able to learn from the best, and bring everybody along for that ride.
So this is for both people who are poets themselves, but also if somebody is just interested in modern poetry, they would also enjoy this.
Yeah, and also I would say anybody interested in just performance of any type. So the caliber of the people that I bring on, the vast majority of them have been HBO Def Jam poets. They've won Tonys. They have been nominated for Grammys. So just as an artist in general, I speak to them a lot about what it's like to be an artist and pushing through your own negative self-talk. And so it's centered around poetry, but I think that it really branches out. I don't think that I've ever interviewed an artist that was just strictly a poet. They usually have a lot of different slashes in what they do. So it's really open to a lot of different genres of expression.
And tell me who you're going to have on tonight for the Poets Tree.
Tonight I have Jessica Care Moore. So Jessica Care Moore has performed everywhere from the White House to, she was I think the first poet to win Showtime at the Apollo and win it multiple times. It's a big talent competition in New York. She is the founder of Black Girls Rock, this huge concert in Detroit. She's just done amazing things with poetry throughout her career. So I'm excited to really interview her. Last week we interviewed Reggie Gaines, whose show was on Broadway, Bring In the Noise, Bring In the Funk. And the reason why I'm mentioning previous episodes is all our episodes, I should say, because this could not have been done without the Old Globe, are available to be viewed, and you can follow along with it on our Facebook page or our YouTube page. It's both on Facebook and YouTube Live.
And what is it about poetry that appeals to you?
I think that it's because, one, there are rules to it, but if you break them, it's fine. It's a form of self-expression where you can be as metaphorical as you want to be, but you can also be really straight to the point, and it's still very poetical. It lends itself to songwriting and rap and storytelling and all sorts of, you can mix in dance with it. So all sorts of different types of self-expression fits in very well and in tune. So when something, and if you think about it, like when they describe something very beautiful, whether it be in a politician's speech or even like something with visual arts, they say it's very poetic. And it's almost like that's the epitome of what art is, So I love it to death.
And sometimes people are a little afraid of poetry. They think, I don't get it, or it's not really for me. What do you say to kind of those people in terms of maybe lessening their fear or opening them up to that experience?
When they say they don't get it, it's just, what they're really saying is that they don't get that person. Because it's so varied. Like, you could turn on a episode of HBO Def Jam or go to a local open mic and hear a poem and get it right away. It just, that individual, you may not like it, but you'll get it. And then other ones that you may like, but you need like maybe 5-6 more reads to really understand it. But something about it, the way he delivered it or the way she put the words together, you just like it. So you get it that way. So I say to those people, you just haven't experienced, to lack of a better term, you haven't experienced a lot of good poetry yet, because I've performed all over the country too, and I've yet to find someone who absolutely hates all type of poetry. What I experience is someone coming to me and say, I never knew poetry could be like that. And that's the same way that I experienced it when I first really got into modern poetry. They had it in a movie that I watched here in Hillcrest, and it was called Slam. And when I heard that for the first time, I was like, oh my God, like I didn't know, because this is not the stuff that they teach in school. That's why I'm always so happy when I'm able to go to high schools and bring my super friends to perform, because it really opens kids' eyes to like, oh, it doesn't have to be like this, and it opens up a whole new world. I mean, I could just say this, and I can curse in it, and I can do this, and I could really just talk about my feel. Yeah, it's all good. Like, and try to craft it the way that makes it feel beautiful to you.
And where can people get information about this?
You go to the arts engagement page on the Old Globe. You can go to the oldglobe.org first and foremost. Go to our Facebook page, Arts Engagement at the Old Globe, both on YouTube and Facebook. It's my website, gilsotu.com, GILLSOTU.com. So any of those places, if you want to find out about the poetry, you'll get challenged. We have every week we have we take a literary theme and a common saying, and we smash it together, and you have 2 minutes to write one line of poetry, and we have people participating every week. And then again, these people that I have on are master teachers. So they're giving you poetry prompts that really get you going. And you get to write on that and have another master teacher read your work, which is great. And so it's a fun show, and we have fun. We laugh a lot, and I hope you all join us.
All right. I want to thank you very much for talking about the Poets Tree.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Appreciate it, Beth.
That was Beth Accomando speaking with Gil Sotu. The Poets Tree is live tonight at 5:30 p.m. on the Old Globe Theater's Arts Engagement Facebook page and YouTube channel. That's it for the podcast today. Thanks for listening, and have a great day.
KPBS On Demand is supported by UC San Diego's Art Power, presenting cellist Joshua Roman, performing from his album Immunity, alongside music by J.S. Bach and more, Sunday, June 22nd at UC San Diego's Epstein Family Amphitheater. Reserve your tickets at artpower.ucsd.edu.